I go out for my walk this morning. I can't run anymore, so I walk. And that's actually been pretty good. I'm getting into a little routine now. I got to get into a routine with this new gig and all of this stuff,
Yeah.
I'm definitely a victim of routine, so I got to get into one. So I do my walk this morning, about 9 o'clock this morning, come back, and Terry says to me, she goes, you got to call Ernie. He's got to call him. Something funny. He's got something funny he's going to tell you. I said, okay. So I'm getting ready to call Ernie. Next thing she says, I just got a text from your buddy Tommy Keenan. He said Matt Rule's taking the Panther job. He didn't even talk to the Giants. I'm like, what? I couldn't believe this. So I said, all right, okay, that's interesting. So the first thing, of course, I'm thinking is Belichick. I mean, maybe it is going to happen, right?
Right.
So then I call Ernie, and Ernie basically, the funny thing is that Matt Rule took the Carolina job, right?
That's funny to Ernie.
Well, right. Yeah, right.
That's hilarious to me.
That's
funny.
Right, to Ernie, this is like humorous. I mean, how about that, Matt Rule? Okay.
Right.
Didn't even go to see the Giants. Then my wife takes me to the train station. Next thing you know, she goes, Tommy just texted you again. The Giants hired Joe Judge to be the coach. I'm like, Joe Judge? Really? I'm stunned.
I think that reaction, Joe Judge really, I think was the reaction from every Giant fan at about 11:45.
Now let me say one thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Look, Joe Judge could turn out to be the greatest coach in the history of football. I mean, I don't know. He could be. We don't know. We have no idea. We have no feel. All we know is he was an assistant with the Patriots. I guess he was up for he's a Mississippi State guy. I guess he was up for the Mississippi State
And he was
job.
also worked for Saban at Alabama, too.
Okay.
So he's got that
so they got that
and the Belichick.
Saban, Bill, all of that stuff. He's young. What is he, 38?
Yep.
Young guy, that whole deal, working with Jones, the whole situation. But really, Joe Judge? I'll tell you, the Giants better hit this one. I got to tell you.
Well, because they've missed two in a row.
I mean, look, they did, and that's the thing. They didn't get McCarthy. He winds up in the division, no less. And Rule, stunningly to me, and you made a great point. And look, Matt Rule could turn out to be the next great head coach again in the history of the league, just like Joe Judge. I mean, we don't know. We have no idea. But I have never seen a guy. I mean, his stock has risen faster than anybody I could ever imagine that was not a head coach in the league before.
His stock. See, here's the
it's
thing.
Unbelievable. Temple and Baylor.
What he did at Baylor and what he did at Temple, excellent. No one's going to rip that. Excellent.
No, and he of course.
But his stock went up at a pace that outpaced what he actually accomplished.
Yes.
That's how I'll phrase it.
You know what? That's a great way to put it.
What he's done.
Great way to put it.
Great. No one's going to sit here and critique what he did at Temple and what he did at Baylor. Great. But for Matt Rule, and good for him, and good for his agent, and good for, I guess, him kissing the media's ass for the last few years.
What, $60 million for 7 years?
To get that kind of contract.
For a guy that's never coached in the league, I know he was an assistant 1 year.
Okay, 1 year?
Right, no, bro, come on.
He didn't get the job because he was an assistant for Tom Coughlin on the offensive line in 2012. He got the job because of what he did at Baylor, what he did at Temple, and clearly how everybody loved him.
The media loved him. Everybody loves Matt Rule.
Now,
I have never heard a guy say anything but, love for Matt Rule.
Well, I remember over a year ago, we had Brian Baldinger on, and we were talking football.
Right.
And you just brought up, hey, I think the Jets are going to fire Todd Bowles. They better fire Todd Bowles is probably how you said it.
Right.
Who do you got in mind? And he said, I got to tell you about this guy, Matt Rule. So this is the first we had heard about Matt Rule being this hot coaching candidate.
I actually heard it before that.
Oh, you think so? Okay.
Yeah, because some of the guys, I think, Zach Gelb, who's a Temple guy, told me about him because when he was at Temple, what a great job. He's going to be a big-time head coach in the league, all of this stuff. So I'd heard about him before. I know Phil Simms has been high on him.
Right.
He'd mentioned Rule. And, both of us probably wish Rule was the coach of the Jets now.
Look, that's a different animal.
That is a different animal.
That's a very different animal.
Different.
I wish Matt Rule all the luck, and maybe Matt Rule's going to be Vince Lombardi, but his hype train far outpaced what he actually accomplished.
That's a great point.
I'm sorry.
It's almost like Matt Rule has like the hype train like this, and Mike McCarthy, who's got this resume that's like, a mile and a half long, is somewhere down here.
Right. Now, look, leverage.
It really is amazing.
Leverage is a big part of that because Mike McCarthy did not have a job. Matt Rule had a job.
Right.
Matt Rule could easily have said to the Carolina Panthers or the New York Giants or the New York Jets last year, I'm good. I'm going to stay where I am. So
give me Waco.
No doubt. So leverage has a big, big part of it. But when the news first came out this morning, I found out about, I guess, a little after 10 o'clock. My first reaction was, all right, calm down, everybody. Calm down, Giant fans.
Right.
He's Matt Rule.
Well, first thing I told you, I was thinking Bill. Now, who knows? Maybe there's a connection with Bill here.
You never know. I still think that's all crazy, but you never know.
You never know.
Mike McCarthy for the Jets and for the Giants, I get freaking out about. I get it because he's a thing. He's proven it before.
Right.
Matt Rule is a college coach. He is as unknown at what he's going to do at the next level as Joe Judge is.
Right. 100%.
Of course he is. They have the same amount of career head coaching games in the NFL.
Absolutely. In fact, this guy, has he been in the NFL longer than Rule was?
Well, yeah, because Matt Rule was in the NFL for 30 seconds.
That's what I'm saying. How long has Judge been? I don't even know how long he's been there.
I think he's been with New England for 8 or 9 years.
Oh, well,
before that, he was with Alabama.
That's a big number compared to Rule.
The first part of the day was, oh, my God, the Giants didn't even get to interview Matt Rule. What the hell's going on? Now, it comes out, I think Ian Rappaport's the one who tweeted it, that Matt Rule or his agent called up the Giants and said, look, can you match this?
Oh, is that what they did?
Yes.
I thought maybe it was Gettleman being there with Rule, that why he didn't take it.
No.
Okay.
I think the sense I have today is that Matt Rule got blown away.
Yeah. 7 years, $60 million.
David Tepper, the new owner of the Carolina Panthers, was not messing around.
Yeah, well,
and he knew
that's not messing around.
He wanted to come up big. His guy was Matt Rule, and he made him an offer he couldn't refuse. But an offer he was able to take back to the Giants and say, hey, guys, what do you think? And I don't think the Giants are a cheap franchise, but I think the Giants are a smart franchise at times. That's how I feel. At times,
yeah.
And I think they probably said to themselves, we like Matt Rule. Do we love Matt Rule?
Right.
Do we love him enough? Because think about this, right? They fired Pat Shurmur after 2 years. They fired Ben McAdoo after a year and a half. Could you give this guy 6 years and fire him after 2 years?
No.
Of course not.
No. What did Judge get? Do we know?
I don't know what he got, but it ain't going to be that.
Well, no. Of course not.
So I think that Matt Rule probably still had major interest in the Giants job, but as the great scholar and wrestler Ted DiBiase used to say, everybody's got a price.
Yep, that is true.
And when you're offered that kind of contract, which is, good for him, is the way I'd phrase it, the Giants obviously had to decide, do we believe in him enough? I think they liked Matt Rule. Right. I think they wanted to interview Matt Rule, but were they ready to give him that kind of contract? Were they that believing in him?
And to me, I guess it's all about, obviously, the money is the issue here. But to me, the Giant job is better. I walk into it. What's his situation at quarterback? Is Cam Newton, who's the quarterback down there? Right? Am I missing something?
No, I think on the surface.
The Giants, I'm walking into, I got a young quarterback. I got a young running back. I got a lot of young players on defense. You know what? The needle, to me, is pointing up. I don't know where the needle is in Carolina.
Well, but I think a contract and power is probably enticing.
Now, does he have full control down there?
I don't know yet, but I'm going to assume
he does.
It sounds like he got what he wanted.
Right.
Matt Rule was in a great spot. Everybody in the media loved him. Okay, so he was hype machine guy number one.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
He had the leverage of, cool, I'll just go back to college.
Right.
He had the leverage of, a lot of teams are interested in me.
Right.
So he had the ability to tell a very desperate owner, a new owner, and Mr. Tepper, who's a billionaire, this is what I want. You want me? This is what I want. And obviously he gave it to him. And history will judge if this was the right decision. Now we get to the Giants. Once Rule is out, forget Rule. Once McCarthy is out, you're dealing with a lot of unknowns.
Yeah, of course.
To varying degrees. Eric Bieniemy, Josh McDaniels, Joe Judge, Matt Rule, they're all unknown. How do we know what any of these guys are? In fact, the only guy we have some evidence on is Josh McDaniels, and I don't think it's great evidence.
It's not good. No, that's bad. We've seen what he did in Denver, and then there's the nonsense with the Colts.
Well, and then we hear the nonsense with the Colts, and we also hear, well, he brought his value back up. He went to Foxborough. Really? With Tom Brady as his quarterback?
How is it? You and I could get our value up.
Yeah, of course we could.
Just stand there.
Yeah.
Oh, look, let's say he's on the sideline. Let's hire this guy. Maybe he'd be a good head coach.
And if I'm not mistaken, McDaniels actually had a stop before New England. I think it was with the Rams? And their offense was 31st in the league. So it's not like he built it up there. He built it up in Foxborough. But the Josh McDaniels love that we've seen over the last few years, like he's the next great head coach, I don't buy that.
No. I think he's the guy that takes over for Bill in New England. Wasn't that the plan? That's why he went, apparently why he dumped the Colts as so nice and unceremoniously as he did.
Yes.
So he could go back to New England? Because I'm going to be Bill's successor, and I don't know if I'd want to be Bill's successor, to be very honest.
That doesn't seem appealing.
No.
That doesn't seem appealing.
Not at all.
But then you look at Eric Bieniemy, who, on the surface looks like a pretty good candidate.
He does.
But here's the intriguing part about Joe Judge. This is the part about Joe Judge I like, and it's not even him.
Well, it seemed like the Giants didn't want to wait either.
Well, that's a stupid reason. I'm sorry. That's not a good reason either.
I'm not saying it is. I'm just throwing it out there.
You have to hire the best guy.
No, of course.
But here's what I'm intrigued about with Joe Judge. Whenever we talk about head coaching searches, and we've done this a lot with the Jets and Giants over the years, we've done this a lot. I always think it's so overrated to say, oh, that's a good offensive coordinator, hire him. oh, that's a good defensive coordinator, hire him. It's more than that to be a great head coach.
Right.
You got to be a leader.
Well, God, bro, how many coordinators have we seen that just were not good head coaches? Pat Shurmur. There you go.
Absolutely. Pat Shurmur. So every team follows that same trend. This is the hot offensive coordinator. Go get him. Oh, this is the hot defensive coordinator.
Right.
Go get him. It's the same cycle. And sometimes it works.
Sure.
And sometimes it doesn't. We look back at John Harbaugh and we see a success. And when John Harbaugh was hired, I think a lot of us said,
who is he?
Who's he? What's
Jim Harbaugh's brother. That's
right,
about
that's
it.
how we knew him.
That's how I knew who he was.
And he came from a background very similar to Judge in that he was a special teams coach. And his head coach, a successful head coach, and Andy Reid, gave him a position to kind of add to his value. But for whatever reason, over the last 15 years, 20 years, we never hear about the hot special teams coach. And maybe we should. And so that aspect of Joe Judge, I like. It's the idea of Joe Judge, because I don't know Joe Judge.
Nobody does.
Nobody does.
We have no idea.
People are going to sit here and lie and tell you, I know him.
I'm just shocked the Giants jumped on this guy. I mean, this was his. What, did he come in today for the interview and he just hired him?
No, they interviewed him.
Did they?
I thought they interviewed him a couple of days ago.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
The reason they could have moved fast, besides not waiting, like you said, is that he did have the opportunity to go back to college and
Mississippi
coach.
State, right?
And so much like Matt Rule could have said, forget it, I'm going to stay or I'm going to go here, he did have that piece of leverage, the leverage of I'm going to go coach my alma mater, which may have played a part in why the Giants moved that fast. I like the idea. Here's what I like. And I get, by the way, any Giant fan who says, I don't trust Gettleman, I don't trust Mara.
Of course.
It's all going to stink.
Right.
I get that. But I like the idea of an organization not following the same freaking model we've seen for 20 years. Hot offensive coordinator, got to get him.
Right.
Pat Shurmur had a resume as good as... The guy almost got Case Keenum to the Super Bowl. What the hell did that mean as a head coach?
No, obviously.
Meant nothing.
And it's very strange because to me, the Giants' last 3 head coach hires have been very different from what I ever would expect the Giants to be doing. I mean, I am very surprised the Giants are bringing in a guy, even if it was Rule, that had no experience before as a head coach in the NFL. I'm a little surprised after 2 guys. One guy did have some coaching experience, didn't go well in Cleveland, and the other guy didn't. And I'm surprised by that.
You know what? I feel like with these hires, they've gone completely different with all 3 of them. In that McAdoo was on their staff, offensive coordinator, first-time head coach.
Right.
Shurmur was, failed his first time as head coach. Hot coordinator again, but he does have head coaching experience. And now they go completely different with the guy who has a background in special teams.
And a young guy. I mean,
a young guy.
Yep.
And I have no idea what kind of head coach Joe Judge will be. And I admit, I think it was last week when I briefly talked about Joe Judge. Here was my stereotype that scared me about Joe Judge. I'll be honest with you because I think you feel the same way. We're a little frightened about guys that come from the Belichick tree.
Yep.
Because the history of it is not great.
Now, some of it's starting to look better. I mean, Brian Flores looks like he got something in Miami. Vrabel looks like he knows what he's doing.
Vrabel is not from the Belichick coaching tree.
I understand it, but he did play for him. So
that's different.
It's different, but there is a connect. I look at a connection.
All right. I disagree, but I get what you're saying. Okay.
You know what I mean? I do look at it that way.
But Flores, you're right about, but it's also only 1 year.
1 year.
Eric Mangini looked
like
he
had a bad team.
Okay.
So there's only one way you could go.
Mangini was Manginius after 1 year.
He wasn't very good.
Right, but after 1 year, he won 10 games and made the playoffs. Charlie Weiss.
Romeo Crennel.
Yes. Matt Patricia.
Right, Matt Patricia. Yep, right.
So I know that is not fair to Joe Judge, but of course it's in my mind. It's in your mind. It's in a lot of people's minds that you look at the Belichick coaching tree, you get a little nervous. I think that's fair.
A little bit.
I think it's fair to think that.
Yep.
But what I liked about it, the more I thought about it, is it didn't follow just the same old model that's, hey, let's go get the hot coordinator. That must translate. It doesn't. You have to be a head coach. A head coach is not a coordinator. They're very different.
Yep. It's a different world.
That's why. I'll give you a great example. Here's how different they are. When you mention Jason Garrett as the head coach of the Giants, it's a horrible idea. When you mention Jason Garrett as offensive coordinator, it's different.
And I guess that's a possibility, right?
Yeah, they're bringing him in for an interview.
They are, right?
Well, they don't really need to ask for permission in that his contract expires in a week.
Yeah, right.
But how about this idea? Because Carl has been saying this for a while. Carl Banks, he's right. It's all about the staff. More so than ever. It's about the staff.
Sure.
How about Jason Garrett as OC and Wade Phillips as DC?
It makes sense. They're available. It makes sense.
They are available.
Yeah.
But I like the fact, and again, this doesn't mean this guy's going to be a great head coach, terrible head coach. None of us know. Come on, none of us know. But I like the idea that they didn't follow the same boring model of hot coordinator, go get him.
And here's the thing, too, if you're a Giant fan. Yeah, you're not, it's not a sexy name, Joe Judge. You probably didn't even know. I didn't know who he was until, he was first mentioned for the Giant job.
Sure.
I got to be honest with you. I didn't know who he was. But you don't know. That's the key. That's the thing. You don't know what this guy is. There is no track record. He could turn out to be phenomenal. He could turn out to be a disaster. He could turn out to be somewhere in the middle. But that's the one thing. So you could criticize it if you're a Giant fan. But the bottom line is you don't really know what this guy is. We have no idea.
I remember last year going through the Jet search, and by the end, when it was obvious Mike McCarthy wasn't going to be their hire, who was my choice for the Jets, my choice for the Giants, I thought, all right, just give me the guy who I have a blank slate on.
Right.
Don't give me Adam Gase, because I know what he was.
Of course.
And so that is the one positive about this, that you got a blank slate with this guy. You hire Josh McDaniels. It's fair to think about what happened in Denver. It's fair to think about Indy.
What kind of guy just does that? What kind of guy basically takes the job and then at the last minute says, I don't want it?
Yeah.
What kind of guy is that? They're ready to introduce him as the head coach with a press conference, and I'm not going.
I think it's a great question. It's a great question. But this day escalated very, very quickly. From nothing to rule to Carolina to boom, Joe Judge is the head coach of the New York Giants. This day escalated at a lightning speed.
It sure did, boy.
My God. We'll talk about it all coming up. Michael Lombardi.
We don't have to talk about the Nets now.
Thank God.
Oh, my God. I didn't even know Markelle Fultz was in the league.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
He's a superstar.
Does he not have the ugliest three-point shot in the world?
Speaking of ugly.
The court? The uniforms?
This is the Orlando Magic? What?
I thought they were playing the Suns last night.
I don't know. Bro, when I watch an NBA game now, I don't know who's playing who until they tell me. Until it says on the screen, that's who this is?
Dude, I sat down last
ridiculous.
night. I start the game 45 minutes late for DVR, and I'm like, what the hell is this?
Oh, my God.
Are these the Orlando Magic?
It's ridiculous.
I certainly know those were the Brooklyn Nets shooting 33% from the field. I knew that.
I tell you, watching the Nets last night, I'm like, who are these guys?
Timothy Loaba Cabarro.
Oh, my God. Musa. What's his name? Johnny Musa. Oh, my God.
Yeah, no, they're bad.
Who are these guys?
Well, right now they're a bad basketball
Wilson Chandler
team, Joe.
is like a big star on your team.
He's a big star. And you know what? I'm a sucker enough to be going to Brooklyn right after this show tonight to watch the Thunder beat them by 20.
Oh, they play tonight, the Thunder at home?
Yes, the Thunder in Brooklyn.
I think tonight I'm going to watch the debut of Shesterkin.
You should.
But, of course, by the time I get home, I probably won't see it till the second period. But
hopefully he's not pulled, Hopefully.
I doubt
No, I'm kidding. Now, tonight you got a busy night. You got the Nets, you got the Knicks in L.A., and you got the Rangers. Igor's debut.
By the way, I saw nice of LeBron not to criticize the Knicks for firing Fizdale.
You know why? Because LeBron saw the record since they fired him and said, you know what?
And maybe I won't say anything.
I'll take a pass on this.
Right, exactly.
I'm going to be smart here. We'll get your calls next. Michael Lombardi at 4 o'clock, Beningo and Roberts here in the afternoon.